You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many.
Hello, Unstoppable Squad. Today we have another Monday Night Raw results. I'm Unstoppable Denominator, bringing you guys under red lights for Monday Night Raw. Welcome to the Unstoppable Wrestling results and news here on this channel. We will be covering Monday Night Raw full results going forward through this show of Monday Night Raw. And to recap of Monday Night Raw in Cleveland on Juneteenth, 19th. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view continued to shake this week as Trish Stratus and Raquel Rodriguez competed in a qualifying match for the same titled Women's Bout on July 1st. Rhea Ripley faced Natalya, which I don't understand why. Natalya doesn't deserve... She needs to retire. I'm sorry to say. There's nothing left for her to do. She keeps losing, just like Baron Corbin. But Baron Corbin's doing something different now. Natty should be doing the same thing, but... in a Night of Champions rematch, and Matt Riddle battled Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. We also saw Logan Paul make his return to WWE to set up his next storyline, which we will talk about my thoughts on that. Let's take a look at what went down on Monday Night Raw. First, we have The Miz versus the return of Tommaso Ciampa. This week's show started off with Seth Rollins coming out to a huge ovation and the entire crowd singing along to his entrance music. As he posed into the ring, while the crowd kept chanting for him, Finn Balor attacked the world champion from behind. They fought at ringside until several officials arrived to break it up. After commercial break, we saw the Irishman track down Rollins backstage and continue to attack him. Back in the arena, The Miz complained about not being able to answer the Visionaries' open challenge after being attacked. This brought out Tommaso Ciampa to deck the A-lister right in the mouth, which we thought maybe... The Miz thought maybe Tommaso's coming back to give him a hug and everything. He didn't think Tommaso Ciampa was going to take the open challenge against The Miz. The Miz was able to get in a bit of offense, but Ciampa dominated most of this match. This was the former NXT champion's return after months away. So this contest was designed more to remind people who he is than steal the show. So we could possibly see the return of DIY. Since Ciampa is now face, Ciampa scored the win with the fairy tale ending to wrap up a short but solid match. Okay, Ciampa looked good. And The Miz is always great at putting people over. Yes. Tommaso Ciampa is your winner. Grade C+. WWE security is terrible at keeping one guy away from another guy. Well, what do you expect? WWE's security is pretty much future wrestlers. Come on, guys. Oh, they're not future wrestlers. Yes, they are. Trust me. Ciampa had a huge smile on his face. You could see how he was really happy to be back. Does anyone else consistently forget it if it's spelled Tommaso or Tommaso? It's the first one there, buddy. Okay, whatever. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. The entire Judgment Day stable came out to deliver a promo about their various storylines after a commercial break We also get a backstage segment with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn before the women's tag team match got underway. And pretty much, Sami told Kevin to calm down, and there was something else he told him. I forgot what else. And later on, he went out on burst again. The entire Judgment Day. Okay. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green battled Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. The Jersey Devil quickly took control of Chance and cornered her for a double team spot with Green. Chance and Carter ended up getting the win in less than 3 minutes. This was a short bout that barely showed off the skills of any of the women involved. What we saw was fine, but it wasn't nearly enough. Established stars shouldn't be getting squashed like that. Well, tough shit. You can't get what you want there, buddy. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter is your winners. Grade D+. The montage of the TikTok videos with Green was hilarious. And okay, nobody cares. I didn't see that, thank God. Chance and Carter have the same initials. Okay, who cares? WWE should be able to come up with a team name for them. But for some reason, they are still referred to by their names. There's a whole bunch of teams that don't go by, have a team name. Let's see, for example, the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they don't have a team name. Come on now, use your brain, person. The way Deville took a super kick looked great. She sold it perfectly. Okay, who cares? India Shear versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Veer and Shanga were in action this week with Jinder Mahal by their side for a tag team match against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin hit a running knee to Shanga to knock him off the apron. This allowed him and Alexander to double team Veer. Their tactic allowed them to control the pace for a few moments, but as soon as Veer was back to his feet, he ran over Benjamin like a bulldozer. Much like the women's tag bout before it, this match lasted less than 3 minutes and ended with a quick decision. India Shear scored the win to end a short and uneventful contest. India Shear is your winners. Grade D+. Well, they're still going to be new, so they have to make them dominate the roster. Mahal might actually be more valuable as a manager than a wrestler. He is great at standing there and looking intimidating in a suit. The first hour of Raw had less than 15 minutes of actual wrestling. Logan Paul returns into a promo segment. We returned from the break to see Logan Paul sitting on top of a ladder in the middle of the ring. He talked about leaving Cleveland to pursue his dreams to get a little heat from the crowd, where he talked about how other people left Cleveland and who's from Cleveland and blah, blah, blah. He announced he would be competing in the men's, Money in the Bank in London, which brought out Ricochet to respond. They were eventually joined by Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight, which we're going to talk about here in a minute of what LA Knight said. Santos Escobar and Butch, who decided to punch Paul in the face, was better than talking. A brawl broke out and the segment ended with Paul climbing the ladder to post with the briefcase. This segment served the purpose of getting the YouTuber added to the match, but the bit with Butch might have been the best part. C+. Okay, so we're going to talk about this here. LA Knight called out Logan Paul saying that he's a YouTuber who has like 14-year-old girls who are watching him and blah, blah, blah. That's what this person left out about. I don't like how they leave out things, what they say, you know? You gotta say what they say in promos, too. And also, not just that, Logan Paul didn't earn a chance to get into the Money in the Bank. Let's see. LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, Santos Escobar, Butch, all deserved to be in there because they got the opportunity to earn their spot. Logan Paul hasn't done anything but had his chance to talk to somebody, jump into it. No, he's got to fight to get into that match too. I'm sorry to say. I like Logan Paul, but he's got to get his chance to fight into that. I'm sorry. I like Logan Paul because I listen to his podcast. He's a great, decent wrestler who's great at wrestling, okay? But he's got to have his chance to and earn the chance, not just jump like Charlotte Flair does. Next, we have Matt Riddle versus Ludwig Kazir. Matt Riddle has had some problems with Imperium in recent weeks, and has given a chance to take out some of his frustration in the match against Ludwig Kazir. Gunther was by Kazir's side, but Vinci was nowhere to be seen because he's injured. To seal an injury he suffered at the hands of the original Bro. Agreed, that's what I was saying. Kazir quickly found himself grabbing the top at the ropes when Riddle got him in an ankle lock almost immediately. Once he was able to recover, Kazir began to control the pace. They fought through a commercial break into a second segment. Excuse me, sorry. When we return, Riddle hit a superplex to give himself some breathing room. These are two athletes who can work a variety of styles. So this match had plenty to like about it. The strikes were stiff. The suplexes had an impact. And the transitions were smooth. There was little to complain about other than some minor moments that were barely noticeable. Okay? We could have said what it was, but Riddle ended up getting the win, which was predictable, but also the right call. Kazir and Gunther beat him down afterward. Matt Riddle is your winner. Grade B+. Riddle switching from shorts to trunks has been a topic of conversation on social media ever since he returned. Who cares? Who effing cares? Really? Obviously, you idiots people only care. Why does it matter to what he does? Or anyone switches up to something? Kazir should play it. Nobody cares. If you play a James Bond villain, nobody cares. Talk about the goddamn match, you fucking idiots. He has the look, and you said this before, that he should be playing in a villain. Riddle rolling out gut-wrench suplexes always looked good. Should always be talking about the goddamn match, not about how they look good or how this person should be in a match or a James Bond villain movie or on social media switching topics or something. Gotta be talking about the goddamn match, for fuck's sakes. The way Riddle took Kazir out of the ring by his head looked rough. Kazir was able to land safely, But it was also a bad bump. Okay, who cares? I really don't care. The Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy. Otis and Chad Gable took on Eric and Ivar in a tag team match this week. But Maxine Dupree and Valhalla were also present at ringside. Of course, they're always going to be. Gable started off against Ivar, but he quickly tagged out to Otis when he realized he was a little over his head. The two big men collided, and Ivar went down like a sack of potatoes. Okay, the Olympic came back in and had a great sequence that saw him take out both Vikings. But he was unable to get the pin with a dividing headbutt. Maxine ended up taking out Valhalla at ringside, but the distraction allowed Eric to sneak in and hit Gable with a knee to the back for the pin. This feud has had its ups and downs. This bout was nothing special, but had some fun moments. Giving the Viking Raiders this win makes sense, but it also have made more sense if it was a deficit victory instead of Eric taking advantage of a situation. Viking Raiders is your winner, grade C+. Maxine has a great facial expressions and body language. She does so many hilarious things that a lot of people might notice. Otis is one of those guys who never seems to lose his popularity. The fans just love him. And you can tell he loves them back. No shit. Gable has so much more power than anyone else his size. The things he can do against larger opponents are always impressive. Next, we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Trish Stratus. The Judgment Day had a lot on their plate this week, and one of those things was a rematch from Night of Champions between Rhea Ripley and Natalya. The Educator attacked Natalya before the bell and destroyed her at ringside. Not only were we robbed of what might have been a good match, no, we weren't robbed. It was great to see Natalya get beat up because she sucked. I'm sorry. It's time for her to retire or do something else. Seriously. The Queen of Hearts was again made to be put someone else over at her own expense. The next match was Raquel Rodriguez taking on Trish Stratus for a spot in the Women's Money in the Bank match. Rodriguez had a brief encounter with Rhea Ripley. Backstage before heading to the ring. Rodriguez immediately asserted her dominance by picking Stratus up and slamming her to the mat. After shaking her around in a bear hug, Rodriguez ended up crashing into a ring post to give the veteran a chance to make a comeback. This ended up being longer and slightly more competitive than expected. It wasn't a standout match from either competitor, but it's always good when something exceeds expectations, even if they are low. Becky Lynch showed up and took out Zoe Stark. Stratus attacked her, and she ended up getting Rodriguez disqualified when she hit the veteran back on accident. She didn't realize she hit Trish Stratus. This might not have been an exciting ending, but it protected Rodriguez in defeating and kept all of the appropriate feuds going in the right direction. Trish Stratus is the winner by disqualification, C+. They are having Natty do a self-doubt storyline. The promo she gave before the match was pretty genuine, but also fit with the story being told. Okay, we need to know what she says. I know what she says, but I can't remember on top of everything. Stark is legitimate. That's why I write notes when I'm talking with Peter P. That's why, because when I have somebody else with me, like me and Peter P, I'm hoping to have more people like that. I can write down notes and we can go over it, because they'll be watching it. There's some people that don't watch it. They watch the highlights just like me. We can talk about it and we'll go over it like that. Stark is like Peter, like Immortal Spades. He don't have, well, I don't have cable. I have highlights to watch. He don't watch wrestling, but he likes to do results with me and stuff. Well, he does watch wrestling, but not all the time. So, but that's why we go over on what we read here. I need someone that will watch it as well. Stark is legitimately intimidating. It's great to see WWE putting her in a high-profile spot alongside Trish Stratus right away. The way Rodriguez shook Stratus around the ring was the definition of ragdolling someone. The way Stratus folded in half after taking a clothesline, such a great sell. Next, we have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bronson Reed. Shinsuke Nakamura and Bronson Reed clashed a few weeks ago for a spot in the men's Money in the Bank match. But this time, they were fighting for their own pride and to settle their issues. The artist tried to get the upper hand early on, but Reed was too big and too powerful. The big man was able to keep him on defense until his rival was able to hit a sliding German suplex. Ricochet came down to watch the match from ringside, which did not sit well with Nakamura. We returned from the break to see Reed back in the driver's seat. Reed ended up attacking Ricochet, which caused him to get on the apron after the Australian shoved Nakamura into him. He climbed to the top rope and hit a tsunami for the win. This was a little convoluted, but it did a good job advancing this storyline with all three men. Bronson Reed is your winner, grade B. So I do want to see this like a triple threat between these three. Ricochet versus Reed versus Nakamura in a triple threat match. This should have been at the Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. Reed can get some good height on his virtual jump, especially for a guy his size. Nakamura took an extra second to set up the sliding German suplex, which was smart because he didn't want to risk not sliding far enough and ending up under Reed when he hit the mat. Even being as big as Reed is, it will always be impressive to see someone lift another human being up with one arm to slam them. The way Ricochet dodged Reed, and used the chair to send Nakamura back at him was great. Next, we have Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest challenged Cody Rhodes to find two partners for a six-man tag match to close the show. And the American Nightmare found two willing participants in Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Pretty much, Cesaro came up to Cody Rhodes and wanted him to team up with him, but Cody Rhodes says no. And pretty much Kevin Owens goes, "Oh man, what the hell? I wanted to be teaming with you," and blah blah blah. The American Nightmare was going to start against Dom, but Balor tagged himself in instead. the two former Bullet Club members locked up and had an aggressive exchange of takedowns and holds. This was an entertaining match, with some great moments involving all 6 competitors. But Rhea Ripley's presence at ringside was definitely a distraction in both good and bad ways. They did a great job addressing multiple feuds at once while still keeping the focus on the match in front of us. After a long back and forth battle, Rhodes scored the win with Cross Rhodes on Priest to send the crowd home happy. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens are your winners. Grade A-. Throughout the night, KO had been trying to keep his anger under control, which I was talking about earlier. Those segments were funny and definitely worth watching if you missed the show. I always watch the highlights, dumbass. If Rhodes' arm is actually fine, he is selling that injury more than most people would. Kevin Patrick said Dom scrappers when he jumped out of the ring that slang hit might be too European for most Americans. Huh? Okay, you didn't make any sense there. The way Ripley celebrated after taking down Zayn was hilarious. Okay? Priest sold the disaster kick beautifully. Okay. Well, anyways, Unstoppable Squad, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back with NXT tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to become part of the Unstoppable Squad, because, guys, the Unstoppable Squad is getting bigger and stronger here on this channel. I'm Unstoppable, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And I'm out.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Skiz here. And if you don't subscribe to Blonde and the Unstoppable Denominator, then you are a toothy bumfuck, pussy-ass bitch motherfucker.